What's going on, everyone? It's Token back with a brand new episode of VGC Climbing the Ladder. As I know it's been a good while since we've had an episode of VGC Climbing the Ladder going up on the channel, so I hope you guys are pretty thrilled to have another one going up. Thank you guys for tuning in into today's video. As always, your support is greatly appreciated. If you do end up enjoying the video, definitely smash the like button to help support the channel, as well as subscribe if you are new for more competitive battling content, as well as other Pokemon related content, more so on Twitch. Here we're going to try to stick to mainly competitive, but we'll see what happens in the future, as I still have a lot that I'm trying to figure out. So thank you guys for tagging along for this ride. Of me being a content creator, I really do appreciate it. Today, guys, we do have a very interesting team. If you didn't see the showdown live, definitely go check it out, as I won't be in-depthly explaining it here. Go check out that showdown live if you are curious to see some of the EV spreads and exactly how this team is all conjured and how everything's supporting each other. We are running Arcanine, oh my god, I almost called it Nihilego, Arcanine, Porygon 2, Garchomp, Kartana, and Tapu Koko on this team. It is definitely a more bulky but still very offensive team, mainly due to setup. So we'll see if we can get all of that going and how exactly everything can work out together. Hoping it works out well. Today I wanted to try something new that I never really tried before, and that is going to be me adding a Rate That Pokemon little series onto our Battlespot series, because I don't just want this to be straight up battles that is redundant and just content that there's so much of on YouTube. So I was wondering how I could spice things up a little bit, and I thought I could do Rate That Pokemon. So pretty much what Rate That Pokemon is going to be is I will try to pull a random Pokemon currently in the VGC 2017 meta and kind of just go over it a little bit more in depth before we get into today's battles, as we'll only be doing 2 battles, so hopefully this doesn't take up like an extreme amount of time. So anyways, today's Pokemon that I want to pull for you guys is Arcanine. Arcanine is an extremely good Pokemon in the 2017 meta, as at one point for a long haul of the 2017 meta, it was the most used Pokemon in the 2017 VGC metagame, which is one very high feat to accomplish. Next going is Arcanine is one of the only viable fire types. The reason this is a huge deal is due to the fact that there's so many fairy types. This allows you to switch Arcanine in on when you can predict these fairy type moves pretty well, as Arcanine is very bulky, so it is able to tank out those hits, usually if it is a more bulky Arcanine. So that is a huge deal for Arcanine. Next, Arcanine is one of the most reliable intimidators in the VGC 2017 metagame, considering it has such a good typing in that fire typing. And not only does it help very well for those pesky fairy types, but it also works for the ice type moves coming out from Porygon 2, from Alolan Ninetales, from Vanillix, from these Pokemon that typically carry ice type moves. Arcanine can switch in on that. Next up, Arcanine is one of the most reliable answers to two of the biggest powerhouses in the 2017 metagame, and Celesteela as a defensive powerhouse and Kartana as an offensive powerhouse. Arcanine is one of the best answers, if not arguably the best answer to those two steel types. So it is a solid check to steel types as well, which is a huge deal, considering that there's so many fairy types that steel types find themselves having a very solid presence in the 2017 metagame. Due to that, Arcanine comes through and patches up that weakness. So it's an amazing filler mon if you just need a filler to fit a team. You don't currently have a fire type, and you currently don't have Intimidate. There you go. Arcanine also is one of the best support Pokemon due to its amazing support move pool. Arcanine gets Will-O-Wisp, Snarl, Helping Hand, Extreme Speed. I know that seems like offensive, that's also support, because if you slightly miss out on a KO and now you're throwing that Extreme Speed, it completely changes the way your opponent has to play the game. So I do think Extreme Speed, while it is an offensive move, I do think it's also a very I think it's more support move too, especially because you don't really have to run your Arcanine offensive for Extreme Speed to do what you need Extreme Speed to do. So Extreme Speed is also really nice. Other moves, Bulldoze. You can run Bulldoze Arcanine, which is still maintaining its popularity, especially with people wanting a different option than Salamence and Bulldoze Metagross. With Bulldoze, Salamence, and Metagross together. From that, I think I already said Snarl. I said Snarl, Will-O-Wisp, Bulldoze, Helping Hand, Extreme Speed, I'm hoping I'm not missing anyone. If I'm missing anything, you'll see it on your screen. But yes, this Pokemon gets an amazing amount of support moves, which allows it to do its job of supporting its team with, of course, alongside Intimidate extremely well, which is so nice. Then Arcanine, due to its bulk and due to the fact that it also gets Flare Blitz, which you think would be bad considering it's chunking its own health when it goes for Flare Blitz with that recoil that Flare Blitz has. Flare Blitz actually benefits Arcanine in letting it get to its Super Citrus Berry amount so reliably, as Arcanine is arguably the #1 Pokemon that's best at getting down to that 25% that doesn't have Gluttony. As Snorlax and Muck, they get their berry all the time because they have Gluttony, and it's easy to still be alive once you're below 50%. However, to get to 25%, it can be a little difficult, but thanks to Arcanine having that Flare Blitz and just being extremely bulky, Arcanine so reliably gets that Super Citrus Berry and almost gets a second life practically in these games. So that makes Arcanine that much more bulky and really brings a whole new dynamic and annoyance to trying to take down an Arcanine. So Arcanine just brings so much to a team with all of those things, and like I said, priority, that's such an extremely nice to have priority on your team, as even with Tapu Lele's Psychic Terrain and with Serena's Queenly Majesty, Extreme Speed is going to come through for you heavily in so many different occasions. So due to all of that, I do have to rate Arcanine and give it an overall grade of an A. I didn't go as far as giving it an A+, due to the fact that Arcanine is still heavily threatened by Garchomp. Arcanine suffers slightly from 4-move syndrome. I wouldn't say entirely, but I do think it slightly suffers from 4-move syndrome. So that's kind of a knock on it as well. I also obviously even though it helps Arcanine in some situations, it also hinders it in the fact that Flare Blitz does do recoil. There is going to be certain situations where you don't want Flare Blitz to have that recoil. And then Arcanine, trying to think of other things Arcanine kind of lacks on. I can't really think of it. Arcanine is actually just it's an amazingly good Pokemon, but I feel like Arcanine can sometimes also be a little predictable, as the way it's been kind of used is kind of like the staple. You can switch things around, you can run Fire MZ, but the bulky Arcanine is by far, in my opinion, the best way to run Arcanine rather than trying to go the offensive route, unless it just really works for your team. But bulky Arcanine just, I feel like, opens up the floodgates for the rest of the team so much better, rather than trying to make Arcanine your offensive Pokemon. But it definitely does depend on the team. However, Arcanine can be somewhat predictable at times, so that can also be an issue at certain times. But since those are the only knocks I could give it, I definitely have to give Arcanine a high A, not quite an A+, but a high A, as it is a solid Pokemon, and is a Pokemon that definitely has made its presence felt throughout the entirety of the VGC 2017 metagame. So thank you guys for listening to my Rate That Mon, and let me know what you guys think of that as we move on with more Battlespot episodes and I continue to try to test that out. Hope you guys did enjoy. Now we're just going to hop into a battle and see if we can win some games with this new team that we have. So once again, I do urge you guys to check out that team builder if you haven't already. But anyways, guys, we're not going to be too high on the ladder because I was kind of seesawing on the ladder with my previous team that I was laddering with. And then I had 2 disconnects at a friend's house that I was trying to practice at. Anyways, we're going to get Penny from Tokyo, Japan. They're going to have a 1626 rating, if I did see that correctly. And they're going to have a team consisting of Garchomp, Buzzhole, not Bulu, Buzzhole, Gyarados, Magnezone, Arcanine, and Tapu Koko. So looking at my opponent's team, probably what sticks out the most to me is Double Intimidate. That sticks out the most to me, definitely, first off, as that's going to be, that can get a little annoying with Araquanid or Garchomp. That could get Araquanid or Arcanine. Yeah, actually Garchomp too. That could definitely get annoying, especially with Gyarados supporting Arcanine well, considering it also has that flying typing, so I don't want to try to go for any ground DMZs or maybe even any Earthquakes into my own Pokemon with that Gyarados likely being able to switch in, so that's going to be a little tricky. From there though, the Tapu Koko and Garchomp are pretty scary, and Buzzhole's actually a little annoying for our team, especially with the double Intimidate. That can get pretty annoying. However though, I do feel like I definitely have to bring Arcanine. So I kind of want to go Arcanine, Porygon 2. Kinda, but I feel like that makes us extremely weak to Gyarados. So I'm going to go these two. I'm going to go Porygon 2 in the back. And do I go Garchomp? Do I go Garchomp? Do I go Garchomp? Or do I just go Araquanid? No, because what does Araquanid offer outside of... I'm going to go Garchomp just because with double Intimidate and with one of those Intimidators being Gyarados, I can see Araquanid possibly being a little bit of dead weight. So my main objective is trying to avoid that. So hopefully we brought a solid team and we are able to win this game. My opponent definitely does have an interesting team, and double Intimidate's really good if you're not facing a team that has a Braviary or a Milotic. So we'll see if that works out for my opponent. We will be leading Tapu Koko Arcanine. My opponent does choose to lead Buzzhole Arcanine, so that's really interesting. I could see the Buzzhole switching out. I actually envision the Buzzhole switching out. I don't see Buzzhole staying in here, considering I do threaten it with Dazzling Gleam and I threaten it with the Flare Blitz. So Buzzhole's extremely threatened right now, and I'm glad I didn't go with the Garchomp Porygon 2 lead. I'm glad I didn't go with that. So I'm actually going to Volt Switch off the Buzzhole. So I'm going to double into that slot, I'm going to Volt Switch, and I am going to Will-O-Wisp that slot. I do predict a switch out. If it is into Garchomp, I'll luckily get a... I don't say it being Garchomp, as I do threaten with the Dazzling Gleam. Buzzhole is Scarf. Scarf Buzzhole. What? What is this man running? What is this man running? Ladies and gentlemen, we have a Scarf Buzzhole in the building currently. Yeah, I go into Garchomp and I can Swords Dance on this turn, considering that Buzzhole's locked in a Scarf. And I don't envision Arcanine staying in after this turn. So we will get the Will-O-Wisp on Buzzhole. Won't be doing too much damage after that. That is a very interesting choice on my opponent's end with the Scarf Buzzhole. We will get Bulldozed, unfortunately, though, so that's not good at all for Garchomp, because I need it to be as fast as possible. I need my Garchomp to be as fast as possible. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to Swords Dance up, and we are going to Will-O-Wisp the Arcanine slot. Arcanine can stay in. That Buzzhole might switch out into something, which could be a little scary. I maybe should have Will-O-Wisp the Buzzhole slot. I should have probably Will-O-Wisp the Buzzhole slot. Yeah, I should have definitely Will-O-Wisp the Buzzhole slot. Unfortunately, I didn't. Okay, Arcanine's going to switch out as well, which I was hoping for. But we do see Magnezone, so that's not exactly what I was looking for. But that also isn't bad. That isn't bad. So we will go for the Swords Dance. And we at least will break the Sturdy on Magnezone, which is actually a big deal. So that's solid for us as well. We are a bulky Garchomp, so I don't think there's any scenario where we don't live a ground DMZ from our opponent's Garchomp. However, though, I am going to protect either way, guys, and I am going to switch in Porygon 2. My opponent will likely try to switch in Arcanine on one of these slots. It's kind of risky, but they definitely need to kind of calm down my Garchomp right now. So yeah, I will be switching into Porygon 2 so that I can threaten an Oko on my opponent's Garchomp without having to go for like the ground DMZ into it. And maybe I can even bait it to not go for the ground DMZ into our Garchomp, considering that I will be threatening that Ice Beam this turn. And then obviously I'll be threatening the Magnezone very heavily with my Garchomp, so we'll see how that exactly works out. We will get the special attack raise as well. We will be protecting, so we'll see exactly how that works out. And we do see a Swords Dance from my opponent's Garchomp as well, which I definitely was fearing. That is something I definitely was fearing. And we'll see the Thunderbolt into Arcanine. So not too bad a place for my opponent on my opponent's end. Not bad at all. Here's what we can do though. What I do is I double into the Garchomp slot. Yeah, I have to double into the Garchomp slot. If it protects, that is going to be extremely unfortunate. A protect would actually be terrible for us now that I made that play. That would actually be really, really bad if my opponent protected. And he does not. Oh, that took so long. I thought it wasn't a protect. Alright. Flash Cannon. One bulldoze and this thing's faster than us now? Okay. Alright. So it's gonna be through the protect. After I made that play, I realized the protect was pretty obvious on my opponent's end, so not a good play on my end, but at least we'll still get decent damage off on the Garchomp. That's decent damage. So what I can do here is I will just actually protect again. I'm going to protect my Garchomp again, and I'm gonna let my opponent go for that. I'm actually gonna Trick Room. I'm actually going to Trick Room with Porygon 2. If there's any chance that Porygon 2 can actually get this Trick Room off, then I'll be heavily threatening my opponents too, as we do have that Bulldoze, so we're even slower than his Magnezone, which is actually crazy to me that we're slower than a Magnezone with our Garchomp. Even after one stage of speed drop, that's actually pretty crazy to me. Magnezone is going to switch out into Buzzhole, so pretty good switch by my opponent, as I did go for that Trick Room. We'll see what exactly my opponent went for though. See exactly who he went for. As we do just see an Earthquake, okay. So Porygon 2 should definitely be able to live this. Okay, Porygon 2 can definitely not live that. Oh, because it was a crit. Alright. I thought it could. I thought it could. Maybe it still couldn't have, but you never know. Alright, so the one thing we have going right now, I don't know if I should switch out my Garchomp and just get the -1 on my opponent's Garchomp, just in case it lives this Dazzling game, because we are not that offensive at all. No, it's not worth it. I'm just going to go for a Rock Slide, and I'm just going to go for a Dazzling Gleam and pray that this knocks out. My opponent is going to protect his Garchomp. That was definitely the play to make, as we will take another Poison Jab. This is going to be a burn. Oh, that still does too much damage. Still does too much damage. So what we're gonna have to do is, considering my opponent does have Arcanine in the back, as this one got a little tricky on us, we're gonna have to send in Arcanine. Oh, that might be a misplay though. No, because Arcanine should definitely be able to take one Earthquake, or at least I'm hoping it can. The main thing we need right now is we need our Garchomp to live my opponent's Earthquake. If that can happen, I think we can win this game. That has to happen. So I'm going to switch out Coco. Definitely envisioning an Extreme Speed coming into my Arcanine. I needed to get the -1, and obviously I needed to get Coco out of there, away from the Extreme Speed. The Extreme Speed does come out onto Arcanine, so yep, definitely. And as we see, the Rock Slide and Garchomp is going to avoid, so that is huge, and that's going to bring us down to our Berry on Arcanine, so that almost couldn't have went better. Other than, no, that honestly couldn't have went better. I just need this to not kill our Arcanine, and which it shouldn't. Oh, nope, it actually does, and that's going to be game. Did we get a crit on anything? So I'm like, we were at -1. We didn't get a crit on anything? Wow. Wow. That's the power of our Garchomp, I guess. That is the power of our Garchomp. So we're going to take that game. I did not expect... Well, yeah, we're going to take the game. I forgot Buzzhole's still alive. But, yeah, we're definitely taking that game. Oh, no, Magnezone's still alive. Oh, that's actually extremely scary, actually. That's actually super scary. How do I beat a Magnezone? Hold on. How do I beat this? I don't know how I beat this. Because even if I Sky Drop the Magnezone, it's gonna come down. It's faster than my Garchomp. I don't know how I beat this. I don't think I can. I'm gonna go for Nature's Madness. I don't think I can beat this though. I forgot it's Magnezone that was in the back. Oh, I could have protected. Oh, that's how we beat this. That is how we beat this. Oh god. That is how we beat this. Oh my god, we lived on 1 HP, guys. That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. So GG's to Penny. Thank you for the fun game. Ridiculous, honestly. That was a ridiculous game. Living on 1 HP. Wow. Wow. Astonishing. So I'm actually going to save that replay because I've kind of been wanting to maybe bring to you guys me looking back at some replays and trying to look back at some games and analyze some of the plays and everything that did happen in those games. So I'm going to save that replay just for the possibility that I do that. Something that I've been conjuring, or something I've just been kind of thinking on and possibly considering, but I'm not completely sure how I feel about that. I feel like that'd be better for best of 3, and obviously don't get best of 3 on the Battlespot ladder. So definitely something that's been in the back of my mind, but I'm not completely sure I'll bring that to you guys. Just trying to think of some different things that'll make the battles a little bit more intriguing. Really cool that we lived on 1 HP though. Extremely fun game, and definitely a quality one. I completely forgot Magnezone was still alive in the back. Thankfully, due to our bulk though, we were able to live on 1 HP and stay alive. So hopefully we can find another opponent here pretty soon, and then we can try to win another game. So that was huge. Arcanine came through heavily, especially with my opponent going for Rock Slide. I do think he should have just went for Earthquake, but I guess he didn't realize how offensive my Coco was, so he felt better not risking his Arcanine just to get damage off on my Pokemon. But anyways, I didn't see the rating, but we do have an opponent named Don Papa, and their team is going to consist of Tapu Lele, Garchomp, Salazzle, Gashoudan, Tapu Koko, and Celstilla. So looking at my opponent's team, Gashoudan sticks out heavily because Gashoudan can be extremely annoying. It can put us in one, it can Storm Drain away our Araquanid's liquidations. 2, it can get into a stall war with Porygon 2 and force us to go for Toxic and just get in a Toxic war if it also has Toxic. If it doesn't, then Porygon 2 wins that war, but it could just be annoying and lengthy. Excuse me. And lastly, it can force me to bring Kartana, considering that Kartana has an alright matchup, but definitely not an overwhelmingly good matchup unless I get up a Swords Dance, and unless I can get rid of Salazzle pretty easily. So definitely an annoying Pokemon to have to deal with. Looking at my opponent's team though, it makes me want to bring Garchomp. I think I'm going to go Garchomp, Koko, Arcanine in the back, Garchomp, Koko so that I can Oko the Lele if I have to, if it leaves, because Lele's a huge threat. and I will bring Kartana and the Baek. So we'll see if we brought an adequate team to win this one. See exactly what my opponent decided to lead with. We will have to be wary of Salazzle's. Oh, terrible lead for us. Okay. And I could see that lead coming, considering that obviously Salazzle stops. Yeah, this is actually a terrible lead for us. So I'm going to protect Garchomp and go for a Nature's Madness on Gastrodon. We should definitely live a Sludge Bomb from Salazzle, considering that we are a Soul Vest. I can't protect Tapu Koko, so I'm just going to go on the offensive. There's nothing I want to switch in on that slot either, considering that Salazzle threatens my Kartana and Gastrodon threatens Arcanine. So definitely a lead that I could see coming, and why I said Gastrodon make this game tricky, considering that Salazzle threatens Kartana, which threatens the Gastrodon, but then Gastrodon threatens like my other Pokemon that have a way of dealing with this thing, so just kind of annoying. My opponent's just gonna go for the Flamethrower. She should take relatively well, considering we are Soul Vest, and then the Ice Beam into Garchomp. Not too unexpected. What we can do here is, who went first? I feel like I went first that turn. So I'm going to Earthquake and Sky Drop the Gastrodon. Salazzle's going to switch out into what? Into Tapu Lele, which is perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. So we'll get the damage off on Lele. And that's solid damage. So Lele here, I feel, has to be a little compelled to protect. Just a little. So I'm going to go for the Ground DMZ into the Gastrodon slot to get rid of Gastrodon, and I'm hoping Lele protects. It's not going to protect, which is unfortunate, but I didn't want to lose my Tapu Koko to just go for the damage. So unfortunately, we are going to take a very hefty hitting psychic type attack into one of our 2 slots, which is definitely going to be an issue. Especially if it's on Garchomp, it might even take out. Especially if it's Psychic MZ, it takes out either. If it's just Psychic, it still might take out Garchomp. If it's like Life Orb or definitely Choice Specs Lele, so we will have to wait and see. Oh, just a Moonblast. It's definitely gonna take us out. Yeah, my opponent realized what the threat was. Oh, the invisible sash. Garchomp coming through again. Garchomp coming through again. You gotta be kidding me. Garchomp did not just come through twice like that. I kinda just want a Dazzling Gleam. Yeah, I'm actually just gonna protect and Dazzling Gleam. The reason for this play is because I don't want to switch in Arcanine in on my opponent's, as Lele's just going to protect, which is, yeah, I was afraid of Lele just even attacking, but if it protected, then I liked the Garchomp protect as well. But yeah, I really just didn't want to switch in Arcanine or Kartana on this at all. Yeah, as Earthquake's going to take out, it's going to take out our Garchomp, but Kartana should be able to come in, take out my opponent's Garchomp, and then, as it was a critical hit, not like it mattered, and then I should be able to take out the Lele with another Earthquake. So, that seems like the plan. Earthquake, Leaf Blade. I just gotta hope that this isn't like some extremely bulky Garchomp, and that it doesn't win the speed tie against our Garchomp if it is. Salazzle in the back still scares me, but it can't 1v1 Arcanine, so something to keep in mind. Can this kill? It does kill, perfect. That's perfect. An Earthquake won't take out Kartana considering its monster's defense stat. This Earthquake will take out Tapu Lele, and then my opponent will have to make the decision of which of these two my opponent wants to take out, the Kartana or the Garchomp, and then from there I could just go into Arcanine and we win this game. So that should be another win for you guys. So extremely solid, just so ridiculous that Garchomp was once again able to live on 1. That was the invisible sash for you guys. That's what was the invisible sash. Oh, that had to hurt my opponent's soul. Can only imagine. Yeah, I'm actually just gonna Rock Slide. No, because there's no chance he just protects. Or actually, no, there's no chance. Maybe. Okay, he doesn't just protect. Flamethrower into Garchomp. Alright, if my opponent just protected there and I Earthquaked into my own Kartana, I would have been very salty though. Oh, I meant to go for the Sacred Sword. That was dumb on my end. That should have been a Sacred Sword. Oh, we get the crit anyways to make up for it. I'll just go for a Flare Blitz. I'll detect with Kartana, and then I'll just go for a Flare Blitz on the Salazzle. Because it just goes for a Toxic. So my opponent's not giving up, staying in the game. Cool to see Toxic, but on such a frail Pokemon, it's just kind of hard for me to see it as something that's going to take out Salazzle, and that will be game. But yeah, Toxic on such frail Pokemon just is kind of hard to use correctly, because frail Pokemon kind of need to use their turns to hit hard. So that takes some really good plays to be able to use Toxic on such a frail Pokemon correctly. We will win that 2-0 against Don Papa. Didn't really get to see, or Papa. Didn't get to see his rating, but as long as we win, that is all that matters at the end of the day. Thank you guys for tuning in into today's episode of VGC Climbing the Ladder. Like I said, if you did enjoy, smash the like button to support the channel, as well as subscribe if you are new to not miss out on more competitive Pokemon action, especially this VGC series that we got kicking up right again for you all. So definitely subscribe if you are new. Thank you guys for tuning in either way. Like I said, support is always greatly appreciated. And let me know what you guys thought of the Rate That Pokemon little thing that I'm trying to bring a new mix to the VGC series to kind of spice things up a little, not just throw battles at you guys. Let me know what you think. For now though, guys, I'm gonna get the heck out of here. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. For now, for me though, I'm out. Peace.